Hello, my name is Jessica. I'm with Itty Bitty Micro Farm. I am here today to present the Microgreens Health Benefits video. I did a lot of research on microgreens, not only for this video, but for our business as well. I'm a firm believer in understanding and really knowing your product and understanding the benefits of them, and really not just leaning on the hype, but really doing the research and understanding what you're selling and why you're selling them. So for our business, I did a lot of research, and then for this video, I really took a deep dive into that research and really looked for the studies and information that really shows how amazing these microgreens really are. All right, so we are going to go into this. So first, we're going to look at sprouts versus microgreens. We run into this a lot, especially when we're at the market and people are like, oh, yum, my sprouts. We don't really correct them, but we want to make sure that there is some familiarity with the differences. Sprouts have been around since, gosh, for 5,000 years in traditional Chinese cuisine and medicine. They've been popularized in the 1980s for their health benefits. You saw them a lot in the 80s, and they've become increasingly popular in the US and around the world. But sprouts are merely germinated seeds. They're in that first stage of plant growth. They don't really need any light. They don't need any nutrition to grow. All of their nutrition's within their seeds, so they are harvested before they need any kind of additives at all. They're consumed typically with their root and their seed, which can bring risks of bacterial contamination and things like that. Microgreens are a little bit different though. They started in the 1980s in Southern California, started popping up on restaurant plates and as garnishes. But by the mid-90s, they started gaining popularity, and they're now found worldwide. Microgreens are a little bit more advanced than a sprout, but they're still smaller than a baby green. They require less warmth, less humidity than sprouts do, so only the leaf and the stem are consumed. So that reduces that bacterial contamination risk, possibly making them a little safer to consume. So there is quite a bit of difference and a lot of similarities with the sprouts and the microgreens. All right, so you can find articles in magazines all day long on the health benefits of microgreens, like WebMD, Healthline, NPR. There's an article in Better Homes and Gardens, I think it was last month. But most of these articles actually reference the same handful of research projects and journals. So some of my favorite resources for finding source information about microgreens come from the USDA Ag Research magazine, as well as journals like Agriculture and Food Chemistry, Future Foods, Food and Function. I'm going to link all of these articles in the video description, so if you want to go down the rabbit hole of microgreens health benefits like I did, you're more than welcome to. I will link a ton of information in our description. All right, so there are different types of microgreens. They have different families. Each of these groups of microgreens will typically have similar nutritional profiles overall. For example, the USDA found that with brassicas, most abundant macroelement found in them was potassium, followed by phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, sodium. The potassium values were highest in the wasabi microgreens, but lowest in our daikon radish microgreens. The Savoy cabbage had the highest calcium levels. But overall, they're very similar in nutrition profile. That was just for those elements that they were looking at. And you can also find cereals such as wheat, rice, oat, corn, barley, buckwheat. All of those can be made into microgreens, as well as legumes like chickpeas, beans, and lentils. Those are grown into microgreens often as well, so they're not listed on this, but they are also available as a microgreen as well. All right, so here's a copy of that ag research that I was just referencing, the USDA Agricultural Research Service. They've done a few studies where they found that microgreens overall have a higher concentration of most nutrients, meaning that they could have a truly positive impact on a person's diet. All right, this one is the assessment of vitamin and carotenoid concentrations of emerging food products, edible microgreens. This study was published in the Journal of Agriculture and Food Chemistry in 2012. Since then, it's been referenced well over 100 articles and studies. This study has really helped push the scientific community to seek additional research for microgreens. It looked at 25 commercially grown microgreens that were available at the time. They evaluated the levels of vital nutrients, including vitamin K, vitamin C, E, lutein, and beta carotene. Vitamin C, K, and E levels were highest among the red cabbage, garnet amaranth, and green daikon radish. Red cabbage microgreens had 40 times more vitamin E and 6 times more vitamin C than mature red cabbage. So that's where you see that 40 times more nutrient density. Red cabbage really backs that really well. Cilantro microgreens had 3 times more beta carotene than mature cilantro, though. In comparison with nutritional concentrations of the mature leaves, the microgreen cotyledon leaves possessed higher nutrient densities. That was a finding in this study. The professor that was in charge of this, researcher Quinn Wang, PhD, assistant professor at University of Maryland in College Park, said, the microgreens were 4 to 40-fold more concentrated with nutrients than their mature counterparts. When we first got the results, we had to rush to double and triple check them. She's quoted as saying that. You'll hear that a lot in a lot of the articles online. It's really amazing, and they were very excited about this. This really helped boost that interest in microgreen research. So this one is called The Science Behind Microgreens as an Exciting New Food for the 21st Century. In general, microgreens contain greater amounts of nutrients and health-promoting micronutrients than their mature counterparts. Because microgreens are rich in nutrients, this research helped determine that smaller amounts of microgreens may provide similar nutritional effects compared to larger quantities of mature vegetables. Because research on microgreens is still limited, reviews like this are really geared towards stimulating interest in further study of microgreens as a promising dietary component or potential use in diet-based disease prevention. The nutritional quality and health benefits of microgreens, a crop of modern agriculture. This article refers to microgreens as a functional food beneficial to human health. It cites studies that have shown microgreens as an anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, antibacterial, and anti-hyperglycemia properties. So this article has really helped bring a lot of these research studies into one space. So if you do want to do some digging, definitely check out this Journal of Future Foods article on microgreens. Glycerophospholipidemics of 5 edible oleaginous microgreens. Say that 5 times fast. Among the further potential nutraceuticals of microgreens, lipids have received very limited attention so far, but in this article and in this study, the soybeans, chia, flax, sunflower, and rapeseed were studied. This outcome shows interesting perspectives for the use of microgreens as an additional source of essential fatty acids, especially in vegan and vegetarian diets. So super promising article, lots of information in that, but definitely a mouthful. Microgreens in disease prevention. Because the amount of vitamins, minerals, and beneficial plant compounds are so much higher in microgreens, and eating green vegetables is associated with decreased danger in many diseases, microgreens also contain those vital nutrients to protect us from diseases. Heart disease, microgreens have a great content of antioxidants, polyphenols, and such, so they can reduce the risk of heart disease. As per different animal studies, it is clear that microgreens may lower the level of triglycerides, the bad cholesterol, so far in mice, but hopefully in further studies they'll find that it also affects humans in the same way. They're doing research in Alzheimer's disease. Antioxidant-rich foods, including polyphenols, can decrease the probability of memory-related diseases such as Alzheimer. There's a study going on currently, and then this is from Guest and Grant study in 2016. Diabetes. The presence of antioxidants can facilitate lower risk of type 2 diabetes. In laboratory experiments, fenugreek microgreens are supposed to increase cellular sugar uptake by 25 to 44%. And then certain types of cancers, lots of research happening with this. This is awesome to see. Antioxidant-rich fruits and vegetables, particularly containing polyphenols, may decrease the danger of different kinds of cancer. So you can see the polyphenols are all over this, but these are a huge factor in disease prevention. So this was great to see. Another aspect of microgreens nutrition is the growing medium. I couldn't find much definitive research on this, but I was able to find a couple of pieces of research that indicate that not only the yield of a microgreen crop is affected by the medium, but the overall nutrition varies between substrates as well. One study compared vermiculite, coconut fiber, and jute. Another one compared tissue, foam, soil, and then soil plus manure. Overall, the soil plus manure not only had the highest yields, but it also produced the most nutritious microgreens. I'd love to do a video on this later after a bit more research, looking not only into the substrates, but also fertilization options. So definitely keep in mind that what you're growing on does affect the overall product nutritionally. All right, some of the fun facts I found. So these are just tidbits taken from the articles that I was reading. So red cabbage microgreens have 260 times more beta carotene than mature cabbages. Super awesome. Buckwheat microgreens, while they're even high in protein, they're also considered high in antioxidants, flavonoids, carotenoids, and alpha tocopherol. Super great for your eyes. Brassicas are good sources of essential elements, including health-promoting phytochemicals with high antioxidant capacities. Green daikon radish is extremely high in vitamin E. Cilantro microgreens contain 3 times more beta carotene than adult cilantro. The concentration of beta carotene in wasabi, green basil, pea tendrils, and garnet amaranth is also comparable to that of a full-grown carrot or a sweet potato. Microgreens contain more variety of complex polyphenols than mature plants. That polyphenol word again. Microgreens also contain up to 40 times more nutrient density than their mature counterparts. So we did find some backing on that concept as well. Super exciting. We have a little bit of the references that I used. I went ahead and actually put these in the video description instead because I ran out of room on the slides. All right, so microgreens health benefits. Overall, we can see that microgreens really do provide some amazing health benefits. There is a lot of research going on with those. A lot of the articles that you find online do reference about a handful of articles and research journals that are happening right now, but there are still some studies happening at this time. So I'm hoping to update this video as we find more research and we find more information. A lot of really exciting things happening in the world of microgreens. So thanks for watching the video, and definitely check out our channel. We have a lot of information on how to grow microgreens, Q&A sessions where you can ask us anything. We do a live session every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Definitely check that out and follow us on our Instagram, Facebook, and all of the social media platforms. Thanks, guys.